What's going on, guys? In the Works Media here, and I am bringing you the much anticipated fifth part of the Predator series. And I know a lot of you guys have been demanding it, and I am here to deliver. Now, the fifth part is not going to be as epic as some of the other parts. If you're new to the series, you definitely want to check those out. In the first part, we talked about Kevin, the guy, the perverted guy at Walmart. And in the second two parts, we talked about the perverted mailman. And then in the fourth part, we talked about one of our, I guess you would say, peers that went to school with us, getting caught up in this predator web we had going. But this one's going to be a little bit different. The reason why I was saving this story is because this is more of a fail story than an excitement story. It's going to be kind of I mean, it's interesting in its own respect, but it's definitely not as epic as the mailman one was, because I think that mailman got his what he deserved. So far as like a sixth episode goes, I might answer some questions you guys have. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. But I'm also going to talk about a few of the other more memorable online characters that we met. Specifically, a guy named Tony Long Dong 9, which will be kind of interesting, but we'll save that for the sixth part. But this fifth part is about our fail attempt. So, basically, what it boiled down to was in between Kevin and the mailman, we were still trying to kind of recapture what we got with the Walmart guy. And this is like almost directly after the Walmart guy. And if you guys remember, I broke the Walmart guy's heart. But he so we're in these chat rooms, and if you don't know AIM, you can really isolate the area of the country you're in. At least you could way back, in like 2005. So we're in this chat room for like Central Illinois, and we're talking to this guy, and things are going like, the normal way, perverted talk, and this guy is obviously into this girl. And so we're talking to this guy for a couple weeks, and he finally wants to exchange pictures, which is a big deal online. Like when you exchange pictures, it means you're like serious about stuff. So we go to exchange pictures. We send him, the normal picture we use, and um, basically he sends us a picture back that's like, this guy is a good-looking guy. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. So we're like, okay, this is really weird, because I mean, I'm not trying to stereotype, but usually when we get people, they're kind of bad looking. I mean, I guess that could just kind of show why they do this. I mean, I don't like to think like that, because, some of these people might actually have an issue or a disease or a problem with preying on younger girls. I don't know. I know a lot of you guys were concerned that these people were just lonely, and I'm using air quotes there. But if you take that mentality, then you're probably that's probably a really bad mentality to take, because these guys were messed up. The stuff they say to these so-called younger girls online are pretty messed up, and I would never wish that on any woman, let alone a 13, 14, or 15-year-old girl. So anyways, back to the topic. We get this guy, he sends us a picture. He's too good to be true looking kind of thing. So we're like, holy crap. So we start talking to him more, and the plot thickens, and it turns out that he is actually a TA at our university, which is in town. And we're like, holy crap, I think we hit the jackpot. So we start talking to this guy. We tell him we live in town, and that we go to a certain high school that's like right near the campus. And so he finally decides to meet, and this guy was a little bit smarter than some of the other guys. He wanted to really cover his bases. So basically what he did was is he said that he didn't want to text. He only wanted to keep the conversation to AIM. He also didn't want to email, because he said he was worried about it. So the one thing he does do in the end that I think is kind of stupid is he does give us his name. Now, his name wasn't something that you see a lot of. His name was Christian. I mean, it's not an uncommon name, but it also is a pretty common name, or a pretty, I guess you could say, you could narrow it down to who he might be. So we start talking to this guy, and we try to figure out, what his concentration is, because we want to kind of see this guy before we meet him. Because if you don't know, you can see, like, on our school, you could see all these pictures of these people. We're unable to actually find him though on the website right away, because we think that he may have given us a fake name. So for all practical purposes, we'll know this predator as Kevin, or not Kevin, Christian for the time being. For some reason, I always want to call every predator from Kevin. I think it must be something to do with the fact that Kevin was our first one. But anyways, this guy is Christian, so he wants to meet up and whatnot. We've exchanged pictures, and we start to talk about meeting locations. Now he knows that I live fairly close to campus, and that actually is going to play into the way we decide to do this. So he sets up a meeting location at a chocolate shop, which is actually it was called Moonstruck. They don't actually exist anymore. It was kind of like a coffee place slash chocolate place. You could get all sorts of coffee drinks and like chocolate drinks, like shakes and like cappuccinos and whatnot. And so we're going to go meet this guy there, and the one thing that kind of throws us off right away is he tells us to meet him at this, like right outside of the coffee shop. There's like this statue, which is our alma mater, it's called, and he wants us to meet him there. So right off the bat, we're like, oh, that's kind of weird, because the coffee shop's right across the street from it. He wants us to go there first and wait for him, and then he'll come out of the coffee shop and get us. So right away, we know this guy is a little bit more cautious than some of the other guys, we've had, or even the online experiences. He's definitely not as bold as some of the other guys. So when the time comes to finally meet him at the coffee shop, he picks a really weird time. He picks like I think it was like 9:45 on like a Sunday night, which is weird because I think if he's going after a younger girl, perhaps maybe that isn't the best time. So we decide that we're going to go to this meetup as ourselves, obviously, because we're not going to be able to disguise ourselves. So we're going to go to this meetup, and we're going to go to a different spot and wait and see if we can pick him out from the window, because this bar had a huge like glass front. You could basically see everybody in there. So me and my one buddy wait. We go to a bench outside and wait, and the other guy goes, and my other friend goes inside to look for this guy. Well, we get there and we don't see anybody. There's not that many people there, and there's definitely not a guy that looks like a TA. So we're looking through this window, and we're sitting there, and finally I get a text, and the text says, "Yeah, I knew that you guys were a bunch of guys, just messing with me." So apparently he was actually proactive and actually reversed pranked us, I guess you could say. Like I guess either he saw us and was spooked by the fact that we were standing around waiting. I'm not saying that we're the world's like best detectives when it comes to trying to catch predators, but I think what we did is maybe we were a little bit too obvious that we were looking for someone. I think that might have spooked him off. Now, the kicker to this whole story is it turns out that he was actually not at all like the guy in the picture. He was actually he actually was pretty hideous, and he was rather heavy set. So he was smart though. He reverse pranked us, and it was actually a failed attempt at the predator thing. He sent us a couple emails later or messages later saying, "Yeah, you guys are a bunch of punks and whatnot." But like I said, this story was a little anticlimactic. I will be back with part 6, which I promise you will be a little bit more exciting. But I hope you guys enjoyed this, and feel free to rate.